POV, your bestie just sent you a really long voice message, except she has a person with her this time. And I'm sorry to everybody, I'm not doing a video. I told you guys already I'm not doing a video every single podcast. Just for situations like this where I'm not setting up a camera, it was a lot easier to just pass a microphone over. I have one of my cleaning clients here, actually. His name is Brett, and we're just going to yap.
We're just going to yap and chit-chat and see where it goes.
You got anything you want to get off your chest to people?
Oh, geez. What I can get off.
You might want your mic a little bit closer.
Whatever I can get off of my chest. I don't know. I mean, most things for me, current events are a big thing for me. And, I guess I don't want to get too political because sometimes it might drive your people away. But, stuff that happens, there's wars going on that feel very reminiscent of things happening 20-some years ago. There's, the weather is acting crazy, like it's...
the storm literally goes like all the way down to Mexico?
Yeah.
I looked at the radar because I'm sitting there checking Miami's weather.
Yeah.
And it like all the way down to Mexico. My friend in Oklahoma is like, we just had a tornado. They're having the same high winds as we are. And I was like, that's crazy that it stretches not just on our continent, but all the way down there. Because Florida's getting hit with the rain right now. It's supposed to be done by the time I get there, thank God. But
I mean, there's a lot of wild weather stuff going on. Just extremes on both sides. Where it's like just wet and rain, and in times that it normally isn't. And it's getting like 70 degrees in February in Ohio. I'm like, what is going on here?
Everybody thought it was springtime.
Yeah, I did too.
I thought we were done with winter. I'm like, in Ohio, you really thought we got a couple warm days and it was done?
We should know better by now.
Yeah.
It's like a yearly thing, the false spring and everything that comes. But, like for me, I really pay attention to the weather now. Because, I've got a garden where we grow food, vegetables and stuff like that. And we have, about 18 chickens outside laying eggs and things like that. And for the first,
you had that many chickens.
Yeah, there's a few. But for the first, part of my life, I never had garden, never had chickens. So I never really paid attention to the weather a whole lot other than, maybe hearing what's on, the radio or the TV or whatever. But I find myself now, having garden and chickens, like I'm obsessive about the weather. Like, what's it going to do in like an hour? What's it going to do in 3 hours, in a week, and, and whatever. And it really puts you in tune with nature almost, having to like work with it. So when I'm checking the weather to see what it's going to do next week, whatever, and I'm seeing like these storms, like you're saying, that are, half of the country long, it's just kind of wild. Like, I don't know. Like, is this normal to have storms this big?
That's what I wonder. Cause like, I've never had it to where somebody clear in Oklahoma is having like very similar weather. Mm-hmm. It was actually colder there the other day than it was here. Now it's cold here, and I don't think it's quite as cold there. It's kind of because it's kind of moving to the east.
Yeah.
But, and then the fact that I've been like looking at the Miami weather, and I'm like, how is it hitting all the way down there? How is it hitting? That's like somewhere that would take me like a whole entire day to drive down to, and because usually you can just go to a different state and the weather's like it's much different, but that's like. Definitely warmer down there, but it's not. It's been raining like the whole week.
Yeah.
I'm still swimming if it rains. I do not care. I'm getting in that water.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is get down there, get in the water, escape, the doldrums that are Ohio for a couple of days. Put on a smiley face in the sunshine, and things usually end up a little better.
Raining by like Thursday.
Yeah,
and I hope it stops. Like tomorrow, like if it's raining when I get there tomorrow, it's fine.
Yeah,
but if it's raining, like I think it's supposed to do a little bit on Thursday, like in the morning. I'm hoping it doesn't, just so I can go to the beach.
Go do stuff. Yeah, go have fun and not have to like, you know, pack an umbrella and, you know, change of clothes and or whatever. I don't know. If you're outside, you get wet. It's no fun.
Well, especially because I have a hotel on Thursday when Kat gets there, and our check-in time is not until 4.
Yeah.
So I'm like, there are places that watch your luggage, but like, I plan to take like a backpack, and what I don't want to happen is I'm taking a backpack and then it's just raining the whole time. And I'm like, what am I?
They can watch your luggage, yeah, but I don't know how trustworthy they are sometimes.
They got some 5 stars on some of them that I looked at. Thank God.
Yeah.
Because I'm not carrying my luggage, but like my backpack, like if I decide to go swim when it's raining, like it's probably gonna get soaked.
Yeah. So where do you go swim? Do you just like go to the beach and just find a random beach, or like do you know?
I mean,
we're like a go-to that you know of that you go.
South Beach.
South Beach.
It's like the further down south you go, the less shells there are.
Right.
It's like if you go up towards like Fort Lauderdale, there's more shells. The sand is a little bit more coarse.
Yeah.
But I like going almost as close as I can to where the pier is. Because the sand is a lot softer there.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it just is. So I prefer it down there. And we're kind of staying. It's not even going to take me 5 minutes to walk over there from where I'm staying.
Yeah. Well, that's not
now to the pier. It might take me closer to 20 minutes, but I can literally just cut straight to the beach and walk down the shore.
This might sound like a dumb question, but like, what's at the pier? Like, is it just a pier of like, you know, a boardwalk?
Yeah.
And like you walk out,
and it's not one of those ones where it's got like, there's no restaurants or anything on the pier. It's literally just this long boardwalk. People usually fish there. I watched some guy trying to fish last time I was there. The fish are really weird around there. I don't even know. I don't know what kind they are.
It's like salt water, so it'll be way different, obviously.
Yeah,
than
but
like
it was interesting watching the guy fish. Mind you, I had a little substance before there. So it was extra interesting. Yeah. Like watching this guy try to, because like this fish like kept like biting and like stealing the bait and getting off.
It's a battle between, it's like a battle of nature, you know, a fisherman and a fish. You know,
the one was super smart. Like it was the same one. It'd go eat the bait.
Yeah.
Swim off,
and then leave. And then the guy said, who's taking it?
Eventually he got him though.
Yeah.
But there's not really too much on the pier. There's like a couple benches.
I've never been.
There's not nothing too crazy about it, but it's like they call it South Point Pier.
Yeah. I've only been to one other pier like that before in my life, and that was in the UK at Brighton Beach. They have one, and it goes out really far. But I wonder if it's the same. It was kind of cheesy, kind of hokey, where you know you walk out and you know you might get like some stalls for like you know French fries, like snacks and stuff, and like maybe drinks or coffee. And you walk out, and then there's one at the end. It's like a restaurant. But yeah, other than that, I mean, it's all right. You know, I guess the idea is you go there, you go walk the pier, and you come back, and then that's like you know, you spent 20 minutes having fun.
People usually go and do like photos there.
Yeah.
Which to me, I mean, it's like if you want just water in the background, or if you take it from a certain angle, you can kind of get like the coast, a picture of the coast. But I'm not too crazy about it because there's not. Maybe it's because I've been there so many times. I'm like the pier. Since it's like my second home.
Once
I'm like,
the
pier, tourist stuff. I don't care.
Yeah. Bree's a local now.
Yeah. Facebook thinks that I am. Facebook is like sitting there. They advertise me things for people that are like in Miami.
Yeah.
I'm like,
y'all,
I'll make content. For
Algorithms
you
gotcha.
But
algorithms
then there's also the part of the algorithm that's like talking about moving there. They're like, don't wait. Don't let one day. Just do it now.
It's like this girl comes down here sometimes, hangs out, and goes back.
I was like, look, I plan to. Don't worry, I'm planning on moving there. I just I'm co-parenting.
Yeah. Give me time.
I gotta wait for my kids to be adults.
Right. Calm down. Give it some time. We'll do it. Just be patient.
If I didn't have to wait, if I could convince their dad to move down there, we'd be gone. I'd be like, when are we going? So I think they would love it down there too. Yeah. They like to swim.
Yeah. It's It was nice because I used to live in Florida too, and I can say, yeah, it's you know, in the wintertime, it's not like Ohio, obviously,
It
but
still gets cold.
yeah, but not nearly as cold.
You would still catch me wearing the
yeah.
same
Oh yeah, absolutely.
down there.
But summertime, here I get it's not as bad as it is in Florida. I wouldn't say here, but I don't know.
Some Uber driver was talking about how bad the summers are down there. He's like, it's humid, and even when you get in the water, it doesn't feel that good.
Yeah.
I haven't been there during the summer, so I don't know.
It's the worst when you fly and you're the plane, you come out of the airport. Like the airport's all nicely air conditioned, feels great, and then the sliding glass door when you walk out opens and the heat and the humidity just hits you.
I don't know.
Like,
I feel like the
like a
humidity
wave.
in Florida is different though, because they also have the breeze from the ocean.
It's true.
Like I know in LA, I did not like the humidity there.
Yeah.
I did not like it. Which is crazy because living here, when it's humid in Ohio and like 90 degrees, it feels terrible.
It is, the wind doesn't blow and it's just
but for some
stale
reason,
air.
I think the latest in the year I've been, or I guess the latest in the warm season, I should say, I've been to Florida would be in May, like the end of May. And to me, it didn't feel bad. But like I said, I've never actually been there in like smack dab middle of the summer, like July or something. It probably does get humid, but it can't be that bad because there's still a lot of people living in Florida.
Yeah, and you get used to it, I'm sure. Humidity and heat and stuff, and temperature is just what you do. But
a lot of people tell me if I move down there, what about the hurricanes? I'm like, I don't care.
Well, the tornadoes here,
I don't care. I will take the hurricane, and then they usually tell you way ahead of time. Like maybe instead of being one of the people that waits till last minute to evacuate, I would just do it sooner. But I still got some years to think about it, and it's possible before my youngest turns 18 that I might change my mind. I might go somewhere else and be like, you know what, this is better than Florida.
Yeah,
I think that's sometimes about Utah, but I know Utah actually gets kind of cold.
Yeah.
And that would be my goal. If I'm moving out of Ohio, I don't want to live where it's cold.
Have you ever lived outside of Ohio before? Have you like long term? Like I lived,
I did 6 months in LA, but I don't think that really. It's not a long time.
No, it's
more like an extended vacation.
Yeah, I mean that's enough time I feel to get an idea of like what's around you.
I did learn. I didn't
things.
want to live there though. That's what I learned.
Exactly
I
what
always
was
thought
say,
I wanted to live there.
Right.
And I went there and I'm just like, it's nice, but here's the thing too, is like the beach there stinks. I do not like the way that ocean smells.
Really? Yeah.
It's way like Miami. I don't know if it's like it's more salty in because I think that's the Atlantic, right? And then the Pacific is where California is. But Pacific Ocean, I don't know if it's like less salty than the Atlantic or what is going on.
It's different, like plant life,
and it's
probably.
Also colder. Like that water is freezing in LA, and it's like that pretty much all year round, from what somebody has told me. And like going to Florida, I mean, it was like 60 degrees outside, and I was still getting in the water because the water was warmer than the air.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about it, is like just swim all year round and not have to worry about freezing in the water.
Now, there's a thing I had heard or read or something, I don't know, and I should probably brush up on my geography on this one, but there's a body of water called the Sargasso Sea. I'm thinking about what you said about it being stinky and stuff, and I had been reading and hearing about the Sargasso Sea. There's a plant called Sargasso, and it's like a grass. And apparently it's just been completely taking over parts of the ocean where the sea is kind of warming up a little bit, a couple degrees or whatever. And it's allowing this Sargasso to like completely take over the ocean almost. It's like floating patches of just stuff, green plant that's out there. And apparently it stinks really bad. So I'm wondering if they're connected somehow. If in LA, like the nutrients in the water is like because you get big cities and they get water runoff. I don't know.
It smelled extra. Like I don't know. The ocean already smells like the ocean, but it just smelled extra. I don't even want to say it smells like seaweed because I actually like eating seaweed.
Mm.
I don't like it does have its own smell, but it's
Right.
like not. It just didn't
Like
smell,
Japanese, like sushi's type of like
Yeah.
seaweed, not like just go out to the lake and just.
Oh yeah, I don't.
just playing.
No
Yeah.
way. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what makes it smell that way in LA,
Hmm.
but it's not.
Yeah.
But I did learn. I like even with the humidity and like the springtime, I was like, even being 70 degrees, I shouldn't be sweating. But like if it's humid out there
Mm.
and 70 degrees, I can not stop sweating. And
Yeah.
I'm usually not much of a person to sweat that much
Yeah.
anyway. But I was sweating out there
Yeah.
like a lot.
Yeah. I asked you just because there's one place that I've lived that I kind of not regret moving from, but I don't know, probably everyone's probably been someplace in a situation or lived somewhere where at the time you were like, oh, this sucks, this is no good, this is whatever, and maybe you weren't in the right stage of life to appreciate it or whatever. But I used to live in Boise, Idaho. And the first thing people think of is potatoes,
That's what came to my head.
right, potato farms, right? It is so far from the truth. I mean, I'm sure there are potato farms out there. But it is just like the nature is spectacular. You have everything from, deserts to savannas to prairies to mountains to.
So I need a road trip to Idaho.
It's something else.
Because that's not even somewhere I thought to even visit. Like
right.
Nobody's ever hyped it up enough to be like,
right.
to make me want to go visit there. Like Utah was easy for me to want to visit because, I went to Vegas. There's mountains there.
Mhm.
Utah, it is beautiful. And it is one of my favorite states. And there's part of me where I'm like, I could live here, but because, the heat doesn't bother me. If it's desert heat and it's 106 degrees, desert heat, that feels good to me.
Yeah.
I love that weather.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'd want to deal with the cold part.
Right.
But other than that, I think, if you drive for like an hour in Utah, it doesn't even feel like an hour because the scenery is just constantly changing.
Yeah.
But so it was easy for me to want to go there. And I remember like Post Malone at one point was talking about like, I think it was Listevo or something.
Mhm.
He was talking about how he lived in LA and stuff. And it was kind of similar because I felt like I had to be busy all the time when I lived there too. It just seemed like people were always doing something. I'm like, dog, I can't like sit down and do nothing for a day. Like,
yeah.
Why does it feel like you can't relax there? I didn't like that. And I already have a hard time relaxing as it is, but it just made it even worse. But I just realized like I don't think this is somewhere I'd want to live forever. And he was talking about how the landscape, he's like, he goes out and he sees all the mountains and stuff. And I think that would be cool too.
I find nature, just being out, whether it's, wherever you are, I guess, it's just, for me, I'm sure a lot of people are the same. It's soothing, it's calming. And I didn't figure that out about myself until I was older, when I was a teenager or whatever, young kid, I didn't put two and two together.
I didn't like camping and stuff.
Right.
I didn't like camping or hiking. Like people are always asking me like, why don't you take the kids on these things? And I'm like, for one, my kids, unfortunately, they don't like that stuff. They don't like to hike very much. My oldest is just starting to get into it because he's not really into like toys and stuff now. He's kind of like wanting to actually go and do things.
How old is he?
He's about to be 12 this year.
12. Okay. Yeah,
he's 11.
Yeah, you're in between.
But I didn't like hiking when I was a teenager. I didn't like camping. Right. And now that's like all I think about is what I'm going to go do.
Yeah.
And like even Ohio is not even bad in the summertime.
No,
it's beautiful here.
Yeah,
the snow can be beautiful, but
I
just get tired.
You start getting out, especially into the country a little bit, like a little further south, like Stark County, Holmes County, Wayne County. Close here to Summit. There's some stunning places that you can go and you walk around. And you're just like, wow, I can't believe this is Ohio. Hocking Hills. Me and Jen went down there one time, and Hocking Hills.
Been there a few
the
times.
state park,
it's beautiful.
Yeah,
and there's people that will travel from other places specifically to go there. Even Cuyahoga Valley.
Yeah,
people will travel to Ohio specifically for these parks, and it's just crazy because I'm like,
And
Cuyahoga Valley is literally right there.
it's like 3-4 miles down the road.
And
yeah.
I just sometimes wonder if like the people in other states feel like, you know,
Right.
they're kind of like that. Like, I can't believe tourists would come here for
Yeah.
like, people in Utah. Like, they really come here for Zion.
Yeah, because I look at the park, you know, Cuyahoga Valley Park, and I think to myself, like, okay, like, why do people come here? Like, it's a national park. It's nice.
It's beautiful, but it's like, to me, because I've been there so many times.
It's like, where do you go when you're in the
not-
park? Because we only drive through the park, really, mostly because we're traveling from A to B.
They've got a lot of hiking trails back there.
Yeah.
I like hiking trails with waterfalls. Usually, those are the ones that I like. Or like in the desert. I love the desert hikes because it's just pink mountains everywhere.
Right.
Even like, I sort of want to gatekeep all the state parks there because I don't want them to be crowded. But like,
that's what I noticed too. Yeah,
I
at
went
Hocking
to-
Hills, it was busy.
I went to like state parks last time I was in like the Utah, Nevada, Arizona, and it was 4th of July weekend. So I actually ended up getting into Zion without paying somehow. I got into the parking lot and stuff, and I'm like, wasn't I supposed? Because I remember like I sat by like the gate where the security thing is, but there was nobody there.
Yeah.
The car in front of me ended up just driving right through, and
I
I
wonder
was
if
like,
that's when they had a government shutdown. I heard at one point a few months ago or a while ago.
oh, this was like in 2024. That's the last time I was there.
Oh, yeah. Well, I
But
don't know.
maybe it was just 4th of July weekend,
Maybe.
and they just let people visit
Yeah.
the park for
Who
free or
knows?
something.
There's nobody working that day, maybe, or who knows?
Or maybe it was just later in the day. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I got in there for free. But I remember sitting there and like the parking lot's like full, and I don't know. I probably a little bit of PTSD because the time before that I was there with somebody and we like had a big fight there.
Oh, it wasn't a bad situation.
Yeah, so I think there was part of me having some PTSD that was like, I don't want to hike here.
Right.
So what I did, I kind of got some service in that area. So I just looked on maps and I found other places to go. And I wanted to find like free campgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
So I went towards a free campground and found, I think it's called Red Canyon, and it's a state park. This place is huge. It's absolutely huge. I went there first thing in the morning. I found a place to camp that was gorgeous and it was free. And then next morning I went to Red Canyon. There were some people with horses that came down like in the morning. Other than that, the whole entire day, not a single other soul was on that trail. Besides, there were some coyotes, and I tell people about that. They're like, "Oh no!" And I'm like, "These animals really don't care."
Yeah,
like,
they're scared
I
of
heard
you.
him, but it ran away. It wasn't running towards me.
Yeah.
People always think that these things are just gonna like
Yeah.
maliciously. Oh, there's a human that's attacking.
The internet thing. The dingo ate my baby.
Yeah, it's just not.
It's a
That's
dingo.
not how it is. And it was nice because I had the whole thing to myself. I didn't have to worry about like people
Yeah.
wanting a picture where I'm getting pictures.
Right.
And it was a really nice trail. Like, and I was there all day long.
Yeah. Like a lot of these national parks now, I've heard they're really like not overcrowded, but a lot of people are going to them now, more so than before.
And that's how I am. I'm
in
like
in previous
I'm
decades.
a tourist who hates
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
tourists. Right?
Yeah, it's natural. You know, I used to, because I lived in London and, I've seen both sides of London. I've been on the side where I was the tourist in London, and I've been on the part where I live in London and I'm riding the tube station, going to the tube and, whatever, and on the trains. And yeah, I've caught myself on one hand saying, bloody tourist, move! Like I'm trying to walk here, and they're like staring at the
That's how I
staring at a
felt when I was in LA
building
too,
and like in a
like-
circle. I'm like, just get out of my way. And then I've also been on the other side where I'm like, hey, we've just come here and we just dropped a whole bunch of money on lunch and tickets and stuff and blah blah blah, and like do you want the money or not? So I've seen it both sides, but when I was younger, I don't remember national parks and things like that being a destination like they are nowadays.
Well, now it's like a niche.
Right.
Now it's turned into a niche to be like a hiker. And
Do you think it's that like previous generations, baby boomers, silent generation, Gen X, all, you think that they don't appreciate parks and nature as much as the younger generations
I think
do?
it's part of it, but I
Or
also
is
think
it-
they were more of a generation that want to like work.
Yes.
and then have a week of vacation.
A lot of expectation with that too.
And now it's like millennials. We've kind
Right.
of gotten to the point where we're like, we want more of a work-life balance. Like we want more of the
Yeah.
life part.
Right.
And I think
Yeah.
Gen Z is probably even worse
Yeah.
than millennials with that. They want like way more life and less work.
More autonomy. Imagine that. imagine
So I
people want to
think
be
that's
happy.
What it is like millennials are parents now, and you know we learned actually it's not really that hard to travel, and a lot of these nature places are free. You can get a national park pass for $80. It doesn't cost to go to Cuyahoga,
Yeah.
but like a lot of other places it costs, and you got to pay $80. And if like all the van lifers or people that do RV stuff, they can go to all these national parks just with $80, and because it lasts you all year.
Yeah.
So some people like to do it. Like if I were to buy one, it's going to be a time where I know I'm actually going to hit a bunch that you have to pay to get in.
Yeah.
And I think that was part of the reason I went to state parks too, is because I thought about like, I was surprised I got into Zion for free. Like if I would have actually had to pay, I probably would have done national parks while I was there, because I was planning on doing the Grand Canyon and like, trying to find more national parks near me. But since nobody was there and I got in for free, I remember being like, okay, well, I don't really want to pay $80 just to go to the Grand Canyon. It was also really, really hot. That like there was like an advice. You weren't supposed to. Yeah, you weren't supposed to light any. Like I couldn't have lit fireworks if I wanted to,
or build a fire, campfire, or anything.
They were okay with campfires, but like we weren't allowed to light off any fireworks. Like there's a whole state.
I suppose I can see that
message about it.
You put off fireworks,
you
and
can only
it goes
do
in
fireworks
the air.
if you're a resident, but you can't do it in any of the public lands.
Oh wow!
So it was kind of weird because I was like sitting in my little camp chair and watching fireworks way far away from me, and they looked like little pea size in the sky. I was like, I've never seen a firework that small.
They have such weird laws of fireworks, like for years and years.
But it's because of wildfires. So like if
I
a
get
spark
it.
lands
Okay,
on
that makes
something
sense.
because it's in the desert, and
That
like
makes sense.
Like the fires that I lit there stayed lit all night. I barely had to tend to those things. I had leftover wood at the end, and it had a flight that day. So I was like, I just kind of left it at the campsite because I was like, the next people here can just have it.
Yeah.
I can't take it on the plane. But I think because of the national park fee, I was like, I found Red Canyon. I was like, let me find more state parks. I actually ended up going to some place at the bottom of Zion. And I want to say the water trail in Zion actually connects down there. I was taking this rental car on roads that should not have been taken. No car that wasn't mine.
Yeah.
But I went on this sandy road, not dirt, it's sand.
Yeah.
A sandy road. And I found this. It was the coolest place I've. There was actually water, like a stream of water there. You could camp there. If I wasn't by myself, I probably would have camped there because
that sounds like Idaho.
I didn't want to like take all of my camping gear because it was kind of a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like, one person can't be carrying all this. But I was like, maybe I'll take friends one day. If I can convince them. A lot of friends don't really want to go do this stuff. They'll be like, yeah, let's go do it. And I'm like.
And then the rubber meets the road, and they're like, it's time to go.
I'm
busy now. Sorry. Yeah.
People tell me they want to go to, like, I talk about Mount Katahdin in Maine. I did that before.
What is that?
Mount Katahdin is, I think it's like 5,200 feet. You don't get no service out there.
Right.
It took me, it was like a 12-hour day of a hike. It was coolest thing I've ever done, hardest hike I've ever done. And I want to go do it again so bad, but that's something I definitely don't want to do by myself.
Right.
Because there are some parts like getting back down the mountain, because like we went up and we went all the way across it and then back down, and it took 12 hours. But a lot of people don't want to go out that long. Like I can't convince somebody. I can maybe get somebody in Ohio to go do a trail that takes us like maybe an hour
or something. Yeah.
But they don't. They'll talk about, well, I'd love to go do that, and they won't to.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, like, I don't know, maybe my perception of things is different since I left Ohio and lived outside and came back and things. But my memory of people in Ohio, and not knocking anybody here, but for example, like we're in Akron, and you might talk about going to Cleveland or something. Maybe it's just me, but I always remember it was like a big deal to go to Cleveland.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, we're going to go to Cleveland. Like, that's so far away.
Some people are still like that.
Right.
And I'm just like,
and I'm,
dude, it's like an hour away.
Yeah. And
What do you mean?
I even remember myself being younger about like Pittsburgh, for example. It's only 2 hours away. It's not that far, but I don't know. Like my perception when I was younger, it was just like Pittsburgh was just this really far away place that, was just out of the realm of not possibility of travel, but
One time we went to, I think it was Kennywood. I think that's in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, we went there.
Yep.
And
It's still there.
it was like my parents being like, we want to go here instead of Cedar Point. Just they wanted to do something different, and it was very rare.
Right.
Like that, I think that was like the only time I went across state lines. Besides when I was a baby, I think I went to Texas with my mom at one point. But
truth be told, thinking about it, from Akron, Kennywood might actually be closer than Cedar Point. I think it's. I want to say.
I think it's about the same.
Yeah,
I think it's about the same. I don't. It's hard. It's
close.
hard for me to say because now I'm a huge Cedar Point fan.
Yeah.
Please sponsor this podcast and give me a free pass because I tell everybody about it.
Yep. The kids love it when they come over here. We take. Oh,
my kids don't like it. They're not roller coaster people.
Yeah.
So I took my son one time because I get the pass like every single year because you can get the pass and you can go as many times as you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you don't have to force yourself to ride all the roller coasters in one day. Mm-hmm. I love going as an adult because like I can go and ride 2 rides and go home. And it also includes like parking, the water park. Yeah. I love it. And I think it's like $150 usually when I buy it. And I was like, it pays for itself, especially they say in 2 visits, but it almost pays for itself in just one.
Yeah.
Because you go there. That sounds like a whole advertisement. You go there and parking is $30 on its own.
Right.
To get in the park, you're at least paying $60.
Yep. Just to walk in
plus
the gate.
Tax. And then you have to pay a separate fee for the water park itself, which is still around $50. So it's like it kind of pays for itself. You got to get your drink
pass and your food pass.
And you don't even have to do that because you can go in. You can go back to your car and
that's
eat
what we do.
Want to.
Yeah,
that's what I bring.
I pack a cooler. I pack a big not a Yeti, but a big Coleman or whatever. We buy like a pound of chip chop, pound of cheese, whatever, and just a whole bunch of sandwiches. Make sandwiches, bags of chips, drinks, throw it all in there. And then every, whatever.
And then they give you free water. Anytime you go to one of the drink stations, you'd be like, hey, can I have a cup of water?
Yep.
And they give you a cup of water.
So that's the tip is get there early, park at the front if you can, close to the front as you can.
See, I don't even do that. I go whenever I feel like.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'll just be like a day where like if the kids are with me, I'll be like, I'm off today. I don't have anything to do. I'm going to just make the drive. So it doesn't feel long to me to get there because I've gone there so many times. But I felt like, I think we lived in like Minerva whenever we did the Kennywood trip. And it was like, that park is lame. I don't like.
That's Minerva. That's like down towards Canton, right?
Like past Canton. So it's like.
I know because I went.
It's down there, like Carrollton.
I lived in Manchester. And I remember Manchester used to play Minerva in high school football. I remember that. It was either the Pac-7, Pac-10. It was like Minerva, Sandy Valley, Coventry, Manchester. Well, I'm getting really like niche right now in small town Ohio. But yeah, so I've heard of Minerva. I know.
Yeah, it was. I lived on like the border of Minerva and Carrollton. I think I actually went to Carrollton schools.
Okay.
Instead of Minerva.
Yep.
Just because I was like right on that line.
Yep.
But I think that's where we lived when we went to Kennywood. And it felt like it was an all-day trip. But I was also a child and not driving.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, when you're a kid, everything feels like gigantic and like takes super
Kennywood
long
was
time.
Not worth, I would not go there.
Yeah.
I would not.
Kennywood.
we got Cedar Point here, and there's so many things to do there. Kennywood had like a couple of roller coasters.
Right. Apples to apples. Cedar Point has no, there's no.
I'm pretty sure it's like one of the top.
It's the best, I think.
I think we have more roller coasters in one park than anywhere else in the world.
Cedar Point, I think, is the best park for roller coasters on the whole planet. Like I said,
even for kid rides, I have so many kid
right.
rides too.
The
My kids don't
have
even
been-
like that. They don't like the heights so
Yeah,
bad
yeah,
they won't get
yeah.
on that. I tried to take my oldest a couple years ago, and he was like, he's like one of those pouty kids.
Mm.
Like, unfortunately,
Like, oh.
he'll be like crossing his arm.
Yeah,
I don't want to go on that. Like, he didn't want to go on anything.
Yeah.
And
Well, all right. Well, I will
was
see you
like,
later.
I was like, well, I'm glad that this ticket was free because Cedar Point gave it to me for being a member. They give you like a free bring a friend pass every time. So I
Mhm.
brought him that time, and I was like, I will never buy you a Cedar Point pass since you don't like roller coasters. And this
Yeah.
we rode like 2 things the whole time, and he really wanted to do this. They have like a human claw machine thing where they like kind of strap you up. He wanted to do that
Yeah.
so bad, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I am not. We just drove all the way here,
Yeah.
bought
To
a
do a
bunch of
human
food,
claw and go home.
and you just literally want me to pay extra money because I'm like, it's
Yeah.
not free.
Yeah.
I have to pay.
Oh yeah, they have those things that
it's,
are you
it's
pay
just like
more,
it's a carnival
like the
game.
slingshot. Okay, yeah.
And I was like, I'm not paying for that for you to get a stuffed animal. Like, if you want a stuffed animal,
Yeah.
you have enough of those for one.
Yeah.
For two, I'll just buy it for you.
Yeah. Well, no, it's about the experience of being
But
the
he
human
hated it.
claw.
So I will never take him back there ever again.
Yeah.
Maybe my youngest at some point, but I just learned I like sometimes I like
Your
to take him to
perspective
do
changes as you
things.
get older too. When he gets older, he might actually like the.
He probably
roller
will, and
coasters.
that's what I think. Like,
It just takes
like,
one good experience.
Just like with people talking, why don't you take them? I don't take them places because they'll pout about it.
Yeah.
They're finally getting to the age where they're like, I've mentioned, I was like, I want to take you camping. Like, I do want you to come with me
Yeah.
when I go on these trips.
Yeah.
So this year they actually seem interested in going camping.
Yeah.
I have some spots in New York I really like to go to, and since they like a little bit of shorter hikes, I think they're ones that they could actually do. I
Yeah.
think they would actually enjoy that.
Yeah.
They might not like the 4-hour car ride,
Yeah. Kids don't
But-
typically. Some adults don't like it either. So.
but it makes me happy that they're like opening up to going and doing
Doing
things
stuff
I
that-
like to
that
do.
you
That's
like
what
to
I try
do.
to do. I try to like introduce them. Like, here's what I do
Yeah.
when you guys
Yep.
are not around. This is to
is what mom
get
does.
rid of their FOMO.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, this is what I do.
And that's really good too, because sharing what you like and what interests you will probably spark something in them as well. Everyone finds their own niche and their own hobbies and things on their own, but I think a lot of us probably take indirect things from our parents or grandparents or aunts or uncles in our family, whatever. And I think that's a good thing. Like me, for example, like I grew up never really, having any interest in animals or chickens or farming or gardening or anything like that.
It's like those never say never things. People
Right, exactly.
I would never, and then
Yeah.
they end up doing that same.
yes,
They do the
yeah.
never thing
Uh-huh.
more than they do anything else.
Just me being me, I'm a very stubborn person, right? And when someone tells me something like, "Oh, go do this, this will work," I'm like, "Shut up, no, it won't." So for everything, I know, and people listening, they have no idea who I am, but I'm really into like gardening and chickens and kind of getting into nature and fruit trees and regenerative farming practices, things like that. If anyone ever knows, there's a person on YouTube named Joel Salatin, and he's pretty good. He's kind of political at times. I kind of try not to lean too much into it, but he really promotes like a farming system, a food production that is way more sustainable, way more humane for the animals and for the people involved in it too. Where trying to get away from the factory farm things, and I never thought that would be a type of thing that I would ever be into, right? So during COVID, a lot of us had struggles, I think, with like mental health and like everything that was going on or whatever.
I feel like I'm the only person who COVID was like positive for.
I was just going to say that it helped.
Experience.
I was talking to my mom one time, during the epidemic, and I was telling her that I was feeling down and depressed and things and whatever. And she said something to me, and she goes, "Oh, what did she say?" She said it in a way. She said, "Just go do some yard work." And I remember the moment that she said that, and it went into my brain and it binged around a little bit like a, a ping pong ball or a, whatever. And I felt this like, like, no, mom, that's not me. That's not what I do. Why would that make me feel any better? Blah, blah. So I kind of walked away from the conversation and thinking, not positively about it, thinking, oh, it's not going to do anything. So, like you said, I said, okay, well, maybe I'll give it a try. So I don't even remember what it was. I think it may have been like some lettuce or like a little clove of garlic, right? And I went out to the front yard and I started digging around in the dirt a little bit. And I put this stuff in the ground and it grew a little bit. And I said, holy crap, this whole process made me happy. Like it relaxed me. I felt good about things. There was a process and a project and I saw it to completion. And, I thought back to my mom saying, just go do, I'm like, she was right. Because, I was thinking of myself, of not the old me, but a previous version of me that I may be referencing when I was younger, thinking I don't like yard work. Yard work, doing stuff outside is a pain. I don't want to be cold and wet outside. I want to be inside on the couch being comfortable, right? And once I shifted that sort of mentality, like my whole life changed. Like goals that I have in my life came up that I never knew I even had. I started building, a life that I never had before, and doing things that I'd never done, bringing people, my family, my kids, my wife, everyone, bringing them into this thing that I'm doing, sharing with them, and you're right. You got to share what drives you with your family, your kids, because I don't know why I'm saying because it's just good for everybody. I feel, sharing passions. There's nothing bad about that. I can't think of anything bad,
And it's just like, try it once. If you don't like it,
right,
don't do it no more.
Right, exactly.
But since my parents didn't really travel that much, my grandparents did. They, I remember my grandma telling me, like, you're just like us. You just want to go somewhere, you get up and go.
Yep.
And they had a van and everything they would go travel in. My family never, my immediate family never really did that besides camping. Back then, I didn't like camping. And I don't even think it's that I didn't like camping. I think it's just, my family was, so dysfunctional that it was just uncomfortable.
It wasn't a fun experience.
And, you sit around the campfire with your friends, you talk and laugh and joke, whatever you're doing. But for my family, I think it was just you guys don't like anything that I talk about, so why am I gonna sit here
talk about something and then you guys just, oh, it's stupid, and then it was just not a good time. So it wasn't the idea, or wasn't the experience of camping that you probably didn't like. It was just that's a lot of things in life, isn't it?
It was just the people.
It's just
it was just very awkward. And I the first time I ever went with friends, it was really fun. And then I got into hiking a little bit, and I didn't think that's the one that kind of surprises me, that I love doing it so much that I'd want to do the hardest hike I've ever done again. Mount Katahdin I was so sore the next day, and that whole trip, that was the first hike we did, and it was the hardest one we did the whole time. I pulled a quad muscle that stayed pulled for I think it took me at least 2 months for that to finally recover.
Only thing worse than a hamstring is a quad.
Yeah, it was hard because anytime and it wasn't so much getting up on things, that was part of it, but it was
stepping
going downhill. That's always harder for me anyway.
Steps.
But I can't believe that I like to hike. I can't believe that I loved it so much that I want to go do that again. And mind you, I actually threw up on that trail. I threw up because, we packed a bunch of snacks and stuff. We knew we were going to be out all day. And we're eating sandwiches and Cliff Bars. And I actually learned you don't need as much food as you think you do for a hike like that.
Your body
just can't process it. too busy doing other work, like
Mhm.
just while you're
Mhm.
hiking, that the digestive system just kind of isn't
Yeah.
working so hard. Like it's kind of crazy to me. Like the days I sit home and do nothing, I eat more food than
Right.
when I'm like
Yeah.
out doing things like that.
Mhm.
And when I ended up throwing up, sorry if this is a trigger for anybody talking about throwing up, but it's what I did. At least you can't see it. But
It's a physiological thing. You can't
I
help it.
remember we were like kind of towards the end. We had like a mile, maybe a mile and a half left. And we were all taking a break. And I remember like thinking, I was like, I don't like, I was like, they were like, why don't you just sit down? And I was like, I don't know if that's a good idea. I feel like my body's kind of feeling like maybe I shouldn't sit down.
Yeah.
I kind of want to just keep going. And then,
Right.
like, my body was ready to just like sit down for the rest of the night. But I ended up sitting down, taking the advice, taking a little break. Everything was cool. It was one of those moments where I sat down and it kind of like my head was like spinny in a way.
A little bit dizzy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, I even told we sat there until I even told her, I was like, I don't really feel right. I feel kind of dizzy right now. And it subsided, drank some water and stuff. Then we ended up getting back on our way. And I'm kind of like the slowest one in the group at this point because I was not feeling good. It ended up being everybody else kind of went ahead of me. And I ended up hiking the rest by myself. And I ended up puking.
Oh,
And it was a bunch of Cliff Bar.
Cliff
It
Bar,
was a bunch
yeah.
of Cliff Bar. And
Yeah.
I think it's just like my body was like, I just didn't need that.
Your body will do that to people, you know, after
And
a lot of
I felt
like,
a lot better after
Right,
that too.
yeah,
Like I
yeah.
felt so much better. It
Yeah.
was like because of all the food I ate, it was
Right.
kind of like my body was just like in a shock.
Yeah.
I think that's why I was dizzy too. I
Yeah.
think my body's like, I'm not used to doing all this movement in
Yeah.
one day
Yeah.
or like
I'm
this much.
I'm not a
food.
runner or anything. Like I hate running. I wish I could enjoy running. But if you go to like a run, like a track or something like that, you know, like a distance thing, a lot of people when they run end up, you know, barfing at the end or in the middle of it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's I mean, I want to say it's weird. It's not weird. It's a physiological thing, but I've never experienced it personally. But I've seen it so many times. People just running, you know, running PT or running, you know, training for a marathon or a half marathon or whatever, and they just got to go and just got to get it out, you know. And I don't think they're
that's
doing
probably
it.
exactly what
Yeah.
happened to me.
I don't think they're doing it on purpose.
Hiking the mountain was probably the closest thing to running that I
Yeah,
will do.
yeah.
'Cause
But then you think
I'm
like
not used to that.
what is your body doing? Or what's your body thinking to say, oh, okay, we need to eject all this food out of us right now in order to keep, like, it doesn't seem necessary in that moment, you know?
I feel like it just kind of sits in your stomach.
Yeah.
I feel like it just sits there. And if like the digestive process isn't
Yeah.
happening, I think it's just kind of like,
Maybe. Yeah.
this is sitting here.
Not doing anything.
Because even if you eat like a really big meal, like the pot roast I made a couple
Mhm.
weeks ago was like so much sodium
Mhm.
that it sat in my stomach for a while. Like it just didn't want to digest for a while.
Mm.
Eventually it did. I
Yeah.
wasn't running, so I to throw it up. But
A random question, somewhat related. If you eat a big dinner or a lot of food or whatever, you know, and then end up going to bed, you know, later on, as opposed to, you know, eating a big dinner or whatever at like 7:00 in the evening or 5:00, whatever. Like, I don't know about you. If I have a bunch of food and then go to bed, I wake up absolutely starving. Like I haven't
I
eaten
do
for
that.
5 days.
yeah,
But if
I
I,
actually did that last night. I had Taco Bell before bed.
yep.
I brushed my teeth and got in bed. And this morning, it's weird though because I'm not usually hungry in the morning. Like I can tell I need to eat, but
Right.
it's usually I can't eat until I'm actually up and moving. Like
Yeah.
my body's just. I've always been this way. I just am
Yeah.
not a good breakfast eater.
Yeah.
But I still woke up like with my appetite going, but like not fully to where
Yeah.
I could actually eat. I ended up bringing a sandwich and I like ate it on the way here.
Yeah.
Like once I kind of woke up, I had
I've
it
been
was enough for me.
I've been thinking about the idea. I've heard people talk about it, about intermittent fasting and just fasting in general, you know, just not eating eating food. I think you can drink water if you're doing a fast. I know like there's religious connotation. I know like the Muslim religion, there's I think Ramadan, and I think you're supposed to fast for a certain amount of time. So something along the lines of like from sun up to sundown, you're not allowed to eat. No eating, no drinking, water, nothing. And then once the sun goes down or whatever, then you can eat. And I've often wondered, in the morning we eat breakfast, break, fast, breakfast.
Yeah.
I'm like, huh. But anyway, I saw some things recently where a person, I can't remember his name, but he's an influencer on social media, and he's had mental health issues and like therapy and stuff in the past. And he does a thing. He says, what's he call it? He goes, 5 years of therapy in 30 seconds. Let's go. And then he like rattles off a whole bunch of stuff. And today's topic that he talked about was fasting and not eating. And he was correlating it to essentially that we're programmed by, whether it be the government or society or whatever, that we got to eat 3 meals a day, or we're going to like fall over and die. He's like, that's not true. And he was kind of going through the benefits of doing a fast. And he said something and it hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was like, oh man, he's right. And I'm just going to paraphrase it, but he said, if you cannot control, your hunger, what else can you not, if you cannot control your hunger, what else in your life can you not control either? He goes, if you can control that and get a hold of that, you can do anything almost in your life, because that's a physiological urge that your body and your brain is telling you to do.
And it's usually in a form of like a habit too.
Right.
When I was in LA, I actually did experiment with fasting before. I think I made it like 3 days or something like that. And I was bad. I was not a real faster.
Yeah.
I was like,
I'm not saying don't eat for 3 days, but it's like,
I didn't. I did not eat.
I
for
think
3
the idea
days.
was like,
and I still had coffee though.
Yeah.
That's the thing I cannot control. I don't even care about controlling it. I love coffee, but it was still liquid. And I was like,
yeah.
You can still have liquids. And it was actually crazy because like after the first day, I was actually really energized. I was going and doing things.
You mentioned that as well.
And then when I started actually having, and then I actually ended up not being hungry for a little bit. But then like the end of the third day, I might have went like 4. But I remember I was like, I really wanted a Snickers maple almond butter.
Well, after 4 days of
Snickers
fasting, I can see that.
That was like the best Snickers they ever had. It was
Krispy Kreme
maple
donut.
almond butter.
Yeah.
And I was like, I really, really wanted one of those.
Yeah.
And I remember that's actually what I wanted to break my fast with. I was like, of course, some candy out of all things.
Yep.
And I was trying to look for like where to get them. I ended up looking online. It said they had it at one store. I went there. They didn't have it. And I remember like, I was like, this is when I was like actually so hungry where I was starting to get like emotional, you know? Because after you don't eat for a while,
I bet. Yeah. I mean, I don't eat for a little while. I get pretty grumpy after I get hangry.
Being aware. I was so aware of it. And I was like, I think I was at like a Walgreens or something. I was like, ain't no way my body wants to cry over not being able to find this fucking candy. This specific, I could get any of this candy here, but because they don't have this one,
the specific one,
I'm like literally about to cry about it. And then I did some reverse, I guess it's not really reverse psychology, but that's kind of what I called it. But like how the online thing said they had it in store. I went to one that said that they didn't have it in stock to see if they did, and they did. And I was like, I think I was like, oh, it's a sign. If they have this here, brilliant. It's a sign for me.
The one that says they do, they don't.
Yeah, and then they had. I got like one of the big like shareable bags. I took that home. Oh my god, I ate like 4 in a row. So I don't know. I feel like it was beneficial to fast, but I feel like where I think a lot of people, if they do it, it's not in the sense like I've seen all kinds of stuff all over the internet about this parasites. Like
Yeah.
up.
There's a weird
Shut up.
like
The
crossover.
chemicals in your food will do different things to your brain, just like even like like vitamins do.
Right.
Vitamins
Right.
tell your body different things as
Right.
well. And just like sugar makes you want more.
Mm-hmm.
Salt makes you want more. But I think it's
Mhm.
about controlling those kind of urges for
Mhm.
like the unhealthy food
Yeah.
that is more important. And also like eating when you're not hungry isn't necessarily good for you either. Like,
Right.
and especially like I feel like I don't know if I really have blood sugar. I don't know how I did that
Mm.
fast, because now if I go like 12 hours without
Yeah.
eating or something and then try to go, and mind you, I was in LA, so I was like running around. I didn't have a car out there. I was
Yeah.
literally, I'd take the subway and then I'd walk everywhere. I have no idea how I did that, because now if I'm doing a lot of hard work without any food, I'm passing out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think what the guy said on the thing that I was referencing was, you know, it's hard to like control your thoughts at times. No, I mean, some people are better than others, I'm sure. I'm not so great at it. But it's difficult to control your thoughts and to control those urges like that. You know, your brain saying, I'm hungry, feed me. And like your whole life, you're like, okay, let's go do that. And, you know, when your body doesn't get that food, like you say, it's freaking out. But there's a strength in saying, you know, I'm not going to die. I'm not going to, you know, like pass out, you know. I mean, hopefully, medically speaking, that's a true statement at that time. You know, the world's not going to end if I don't eat this, you know, this meal or whatever it is for another 6 to 7 hours. I don't know. But, you know, I can see how that could build in you, you know, a strength that you can transfer maybe to other parts of your life, hopefully, you know. And I only saw that today, and I know I'm probably extrapolating a lot from that, you know, particular statement, you know, that particular practice, but it hit me. I said, yeah, actually, you know, that particular thing could be beneficial to a lot of people. Now, can I do it? Probably not. But then again, I say that, and everyone probably says that.
Yeah,
Everyone's,
I'm
I
pretty
can't
sure
do that.
It's good to like experiment with it, but I know like now go on like the people that do it like for a week. That's
Yeah. No, I have no
think
interest in
that's too
doing
much.
that.
And I think intermittent is probably better anyway.
Yeah.
But I do think there's benefit in like controlling your urges to eat. Like for me, I can go a while without eating, not because of that, but like I think that's the type of ADHD that I have, where I just like I'll just be doing things and I'll be like sometimes like, especially on a day off. Usually if I work, it's easier for me to make sure I'm eating before work and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, I'm moving around. We are gonna need that. But like on a day where I don't work or something, sometimes I'll go to like, it'll be like 4 p.m. I'll be like, my stomach that's when it starts. And it's like when it's a little bit too late, when I've gone too far, and it's like I'm about to fall or like get angry and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I haven't eaten anything all day.
And then that's when I'm like, ooh, McDonald's sounds pretty good right about now. It's like,
it's always like, or like I'll reach for chips or something.
Right.
Like it won't be something that's necessarily.
I'll reach for an apple
but I think
or
that's
some
literally
carrots.
our bodies too, being like, I need the calories.
Now,
like, give me something that's gonna give me calories.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm not an expert in that. So if anybody's coming at me, don't do it. We're not experts, okay?
No, absolutely not.
We're just talking.
Yeah. But ADHD, you know, I was just gonna say I suffer with ADHD too. You know, that's an old sort of way that people talk, but I wouldn't say it's I don't suffer with it.
Yeah, I remember this mom was like trying to like talk about her kid having autism or something.
Yeah.
He was like a young kid.
Yeah.
And she was like, he suffers from autism, and the kid was like,
I'm not suffering.
I just have autism.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I was going to say that way, but
it's kind of weird how people say it's suffering. It's like,
yeah. But on the other hand, people also say it's a superpower. And I think in certain instances that can be true, but it is not true.
The pattern recognition thing.
Yeah.
It's funny. Like I see a lot of stuff about like, for years I thought I was psychic, and then I found out I was autistic. And
it's like, why do I see patterns in stupid stuff, yet I can't see any patterns in like the stock market. You know, like how to. It's like, why
Dude,
can't
I
I
wish
find a
I
pattern?
had. I
Something-
wish I had that kind of pattern.
Yeah.
I can find it in myself now. Like,
Yeah,
thank God.
Yeah.
That's
it's like
the
why can't I
greatest skill I've
pattern
ever
finding
gotten.
something that's useful for me, other than like danger recognition or threat assessment or something. Why do I get to be the stock market? You know.
Right, they're gonna put my money in and then pull it out.
Yeah, at the right time.
But no, that stuff makes no sense to me. I don't know.
No.
I don't know how to do any of that stuff.
I think it's all the stock market and all that's all just an online casino anymore.
Unless you do it right, or if you pay for somebody's
Right.
course. Which, if you're paying for somebody's course, they just want money from you.
Yeah, exactly. They're just
Sometimes it sucks getting into like. Sometimes I'll like a creator and they'll be like, "I'm gonna give you this little bit of information." Yeah.
just
And
enough.
then I have just enough to make you a little bit more curious about it. But like, then you can click on the link to do my course.
Subscribe
that's like
to my
a
$9.99.
couple $100
Yeah.
because of this area that I actually never went to school for, but
Right.
I'm somehow an expert on.
Yep.
And you should take my course. I think that's why I don't want to be like. I guess I'm like insightful from what I've been told, but I'm like, I don't want to be an insightful type of creator. I don't want people. I don't want nobody think I'm a guru. I don't want to do any like courses.
Yeah,
It's like I'm all.
you're not here to
like,
sell people stuff.
like when I'm doing like my law of attraction stuff. The things that work for me because I am me and I
Yeah.
know my own. I have my own pattern recognition that happens. Or if you want to be spiritual with it, psychic stuff. My psychic stuff is only for myself.
Right.
It's not. I could never sell it as a course. Just like some
Yeah.
of the things that I do, I would tell people don't go do the same things as me.
And I
Especially
feel like-
my off the wall stuff.
Yeah. And I feel like if you start selling, your, the things that you do and the things, I would feel that it might not tarnish it, but like, would it ruin it for you? Do you think? Like,
Yeah.
instead of you're not doing it for
just
you, then you're
because
doing it for
I
money.
realize when there's a creator that I like and they start doing courses and
Yeah.
stuff, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that's like I get being in stuff for money because obviously
Everyone
I can't
needs
say
money.
that I would not like to make money doing this. I would absolutely love to get paid from doing this, but not in a sense where I have to tell somebody how to live their life, because that's what
Right.
those courses are to me. They're like,
Yeah.
you're living wrong.
Right.
This is how
You're not
you
doing
gotta
this good
do it.
enough. Let me tell you how to do
That's
it.
how everybody sells anything, is like
Yeah.
they try to like sell it to where,
Yeah.
especially with mental health being like so high right now, like they literally use that against them. Like, oh, your mental health's bad. This
Yeah.
is why, because you're doing this wrong.
Right.
And it's
right.
like,
right.
I just don't want to tell anybody like live your life differently.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This might be going off a little topic too, but it's like, there's always been scam artists in the world, right?
That's what those people feel like to me. They
Yeah,
feel like,
I that's why I bring
and
that up.
it's even in like the manifestation stuff, because
Mhm.
I'm really into that stuff. And then there's the people their hook on their video is literally, I manifested that this would find who it's aligned for. Like,
Yeah. It's like, no, you didn't. The YouTube algorithm manifested it.
yeah, the algorithm was like,
Yeah.
hey, you're into manifesting. Here,
Yeah, exactly.
watch this.
Exactly.
There's no hashtags. Like, no,
Yeah.
there's no hashtags.
Doesn't
But
matter.
you know what? AI runs the algorithm now. You don't need hashtags.
Yeah.
Actually, the things that I don't put hashtags on are the ones that usually get
Yeah.
the views. The
Yeah,
algorithm
because
knows how to pass
everybody
that
puts
out.
a hashtag on everything. That it's like hashtags are now
They'll
irrelevant.
put
They're irrelevant.
hashtag the FYP, like especially on
Yeah,
like,
it's like
TikTok or like Instagram, and it's like,
everybody puts
why
that.
would you put hashtag FYP? I'm guilty. I've done this before too.
5 million
But
creators
it's like,
a day
yeah,
put FYP on.
Yeah, it's like,
I can't
it's
scroll
already
5 million
on.
scrolls.
yeah, it's like it's already on the For You page without
Yeah.
that hashtag.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just, I mean,
So I don't want to sell courses. I don't want to be.
no, you don't want to do
Hey,
that. I agree. You don't want to do that. And that's,
You're doing this wrong.
and people have said, in jobs, what you want to do when you're younger, or when you're young, what you want to do when you're older and things. And people always say, do what your passion is. Make your passion your job. And I think of that. I'm thinking, yeah, that doesn't sound wrong, right? It sounds, a plausible thing that, you make money doing what you love. But then there's also the other side of it. You think, and then what if that ruins what you love? What
For
if
some people, it does.
right? And I've my
I tried
passion
to go
here.
after music, and I realized I actually fucking hate hate the process of making music.
Yeah,
I hate it so bad.
yeah,
Like that's why I quit doing it, because I was like, I couldn't find anybody. Like when I was in LA, I looked for people that
Mhm.
like could collab with me, because I was more of like, I want to sing and write lyrics. Maybe I don't even care if I don't write the lyrics, but if they're good enough, I'll sing them. And I just never found anybody there that I could even like. I vibed with enough.
Yeah.
Like they'd show me their instrumentals, and I'd be like,
yeah.
like I don't want to tell you that this sucks, because it's not that it sucks, but this is not
That's
what
not the
I'm
best,
going for.
right? Yeah,
And then I started trying to do it myself. It's tedious because it's repetitive, just like anything.
hmm
Because like you have the same loop that you're listening to, and I
Mhm.
would just get to this point where like, okay, this first 20 seconds sounds amazing, but then I hear that loop over and over while I'm trying to add more things to it.
and it just gets worse.
I just
Yeah.
hate it. So I just quit doing
Yeah.
that.
Years and years. Oh my god, this is so long ago. I tried doing the same thing just as a little hobby. It was on a PlayStation 2. For some of you people who are listening that are old, there's a thing called the PlayStation Music Maker, and it was a thing
Actually,
on your
never heard- I know
PlayStation.
about PlayStation 2.
Yeah,
I didn't know-
and it was a
Music
thing.
Maker.
Yeah, you could like make it had like a whole bunch of like preloaded like tracks, and I'm thinking, and I'm in my head I'm thinking about it was like like a musical stanza, with like all the bars and like the treble clef and all that, and you would do like your loops and like a drum loop and a drum kit, and you'd layer them on. And the same thing. I was like, this is amazing. This is the best invention ever. And I was like, and hitting it, and then I'd make a loop that was like, you said like 15, 20 seconds. I'm like, okay, I'm done now. I made my loop. I'm like, I'm done. I made my song. I'm finished. And I just couldn't get into it anymore after, you do one or two. I'm like, okay, it was weird.
And that's how I
Is that how you found it?
Well, I would get like irritated. It would get to the point where I'm like,
Yeah.
because I'm trying to like make a song,
Right.
like make a full song. Like I gotta not only make this track sound good, but then I also have to sing over it.
Yeah.
And the singing part, fine, but I just did not like
Here's a weird
all
question.
the technical stuff behind making the track for it.
Did you have to practice singing when you were younger to be good at it? Or did you feel it just kind of happened and just kind of like, bleh, or a combination?
Sort of. I knew when I was little that I wanted to sing. And then when I got into school, I started like doing like choir and stuff.
Mhm.
So I did get better. I actually remember in high school, there was a point where our choir teacher was actually retiring. He actually ended up moving to a rival school.
Yeah.
But at the end of the year, he wanted to kind of place us where we were going the following year. And I was a soprano for years, and he ended
That's
up
high
telling me-
pitch, right? Soprano? Yeah.
And mind you, I felt when we were doing like where we were doing the placement things, I was in the zone doing it. I felt like I did so good. He points at me and tells me to go to alto. I was like,
Excuse me?
I was so offended.
Don't you know I'm a soprano?
I was so mad.
bro?
I was like, you didn't hear
Yeah.
didn't hear that note?
Like,
You didn't hear me hit that note?
Let me step aside and you can hear me one-on-one. Yeah.
But then it wasn't for a while later when I was like, I know what he was doing now. He wasn't saying like, girl, you did not hit that note. He was not saying that. It was like to expand my range.
Yeah, okay, I
'Cause
see. To
Then I
make
was
it-
able to hit
He
lower
wasn't
notes.
judging you.
Yeah, he wasn't doing that. It was
He
like more
was
so
expand or trying to, yeah.
expand. It was
It's like,
just
bro,
one of
tell me
those
that
things
in a
where I was-
moment, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, let me know at the time.
But I still listened to. I didn't have to listen. I could have.
Yeah.
He wasn't there the next year. I could have just been a soprano,
Yeah.
but I decided to be alto anyway.
Yeah.
And it just expanded my range. So I don't know. I felt like I always knew I wanted to sing, and I was always kind of decent at it.
Yeah.
But warming up is definitely. I will say that's an important part I learned from
Really?
choir. Not just hitting the notes, but like
Huh.
warming up your vocal cords and stuff. I think that's important.
I'd never heard of that. That's interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we'd warm up
Well,
every time.
kind of part of the reason why I asked too is because I think about myself, and like I've always judged myself as someone with ADHD well, all right, let me back that up. I haven't always known I've had ADHD. I've only learned recently in the past couple of years. But looking in retrospect of my life, I realized that
That's how I was too. I didn't know I had it when I was in school. I didn't learn until I think it was 2022 maybe that I got. It might have been 2021 when I got told like, hey, actually, you have ADHD.
I'm 46 years old and I learned 2 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
So, I mean, looking back at my life, like I've always loved music, listening to music, the lyrics, the words.
That's how I am. You want to know something too? Not to cut you off.
No.
I think part of the reason I love Artemis the way I do is because how he sounds is what I wanted to sound like. Right. I don't really know how to articulate it, like, and I don't want to sound like I'm like making it up. I don't. That's literally I don't think I've been hooked on an artist for this long ever in my life.
Yeah.
But I really think that that's what it is like the same music that he's making is exactly what I was wanting to sound like when I went out to LA.
Yeah.
To
so he's doing
this.
what you were not attempting to do, but yeah.
And I don't feel it's so more like I'm like a biggest fan because of it. I'm
so
like,
success for you would have looked like what it looks like for him.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
And he's also, I feel like he's the same type of celebrity I would be too. Like I love how he interacts with all his fans. Yeah. So I think it's very good for him.
But like having ADHD, you know, I've always had the idea of like wanting to play an instrument, you know, of like either a guitar or the drums or this or that. You know, even silly stuff like a harmonica, right? I've got an Appalachian dulcimer. I've got all these instruments that I've purchased with the intention of learning to play. And throughout the years, I've even subconsciously made it easier for myself. Like, you know, like I started off, I think when I was younger, thinking bass guitar because like it's cool, you know. I'm like, okay, well, maybe not regular guitar. How about banjo? No. How about dulcimer? How about, you know, you just go through easier instruments.
I had guitars when I was younger, and I couldn't play that. I was like, and you want to know something? I watched people learn. I have somebody on my TikTok that's been following me since I started posting on TikTok, and I followed him back, and he's been doing each day of his guitar journey. It's been crazy watching him blow up, but it's also weird because now I'm like, if I tried to play now, I think I could actually learn. Like that part of my brain that doesn't allow me to understand things with ADHD, it's like maybe my brain finally is finished cooking or something.
That's kind of what I was getting to.
And I feel like now it makes sense. It didn't make sense to me back then.
Right. Exactly. And that's kind of what I was alluding to is that, you know, I think learning to play an instrument, and maybe even, I don't know, maybe other people have different opinions, but music in general can be hard for people with ADHD, even though we probably, controversial statement,
the hobby collector thing,
might enjoy and feel music differently and probably more intensely than some neurotypical people. But when it comes to creating it, writing it, performing it, learning it, I think we probably have a harder time than neurotypicals, which is kind of a pain in the butt because I find myself, you know, I love music and wanting to recreate and do it, but the process of it, the process of learning to play a piano is horrible, like for ADHD. You know, I remember when I was a young kid, my mom bought me piano lessons from, it was a babysitter I had at the time when I was a kid. And all I can remember from that thing was she tried to teach me the scale, and it was, Mommy made me mash my M&Ms, oh my. And that was the thing, was Mommy made me mash my M&Ms, oh my. And, you know, and she's, you know, teaching on the keys, you know, where all the notes were and all that. And I'm thinking, it's like going over my head. You know, she's singing, Mommy made me mash. I'm thinking M&Ms. I'm like, peanut M&Ms or regular M&Ms? Like, why did Mommy make you mash your, like, was it like a chocolate sauce? Was it like pieces? I'm thinking, you know, she's like, did you get, I'm like,
were they melty?
Right. And I'm like, no, this isn't working. And I realized, like, you know, as I got older,
like, what happened to the M&Ms?
To this day, yeah, you know, where are those M&Ms still? You know, but I
clean them up?
Wish that I would have, like, not stuck with it, but been able to learn it.
See, that's how I actually had the opportunity in high school to learn piano. And this is where I'm like, this is why I believe in like the universe and you know, all that stuff, because there's some things where I'm like, I was just so unaware back then. Like now I'm like really like got into self-awareness, got meditation and all that. Back then I wasn't aware of like how anything's connected. But we had piano lab, right? Or music tech. I think they named them the same thing. So we started off and it was like a class where they were teaching you how to play piano. And they also had people had mixed up schedules, like the mixed up rooms and stuff, and they gave us options. They were like, so some of you are supposed to be in here, some of you are supposed to be upstairs, and music tech, which music tech was more about like the computer work of it,
right?
And
like the production,
the industry, all
production,
that kind of
industry,
stuff.
Business side of it.
And I had no interest in learning the piano back then. I had zero interest. It made no sense because we got to the point where we started and I was like, can you repeat that like
twice
37 times for me so I can understand it? Because it just didn't make sense. And other people were in there just like they already know what they're doing. I'm like, I don't know. And then they told us some of us are in the wrong class. They gave us the option, like some of you can stay down here if you want. You can go try out the other class, see if you like it. If you don't, you can come back down here. So I went upstairs to the music tech class. I liked that a lot better than learning piano. There's part of me that wishes I would have stuck around and learned piano. However, music tech, I actually learned a lot of valuable things. I learned about the industry and I've got taught about contracts and stuff. And I feel like that saved me a lot of shit in LA because I actually was a lot more aware of like, I'm not signing this shit.
Right. Yeah.
And especially you won't let me change a couple lyrics around because I had the opportunity to sing for somebody and I was like, that doesn't flow off the tongue. Like I don't know if you wrote it and it's like in your head it sounded like that, but like me singing it out loud didn't. I was like, can we just change it to this? And it says the same thing. No. I was like, I can't do this. Like I'm not. It's just not worth it to have this. Kind of like,
don't compromise your sense of what's good in music.
But I feel like that helped me there. And then I also learned a lot about the computer editing and stuff like that. And that's why I actually knew how to make the music on the computer. Yeah. Now you can do it all in the computer. You don't need no instruments.
You don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to have a physical instrument.
I learned how to do that there, and it's such a tedious process. I still to this day I would not sit down and try to make a track anymore. There's no way I would ever sit there and make one.
Did they ever make you try and play the recorder when you were in school, like the little thing? Maybe. All right. I'm going to say right now, if anybody has any experience with the recorder, leave a comment for Bree and tell her all about the experience because mine wasn't traumatic, but like, all right. So 4th grade, we're in 4th grade.
I think that's about when I did it too.
Yep. So we're all in music class. I can't remember her teacher, but this is at Nolly.
I think they actually did it right in our classroom.
Yeah.
Like the music teacher would come to us.
We had to walk down the hall to the music room, which was just like a room with like a carpet and like a couple things, whatever. Everybody had their recorders. I can't remember if they got assigned one, if we had to buy it or something. I don't remember. But the teacher was in a chair on the floor and she had all the kids come, all of us like on a carpet in front of her, like 25, 30 kids. And I don't know if we had an assignment to practice or whatever, but we all had to play the song in front of her, like all of us at the same time. Right. So, you can imagine what it sounds like, 30 kids, there's horrible sound.
They did that because it wasn't good.
and at the time, because I didn't realize ADHD, I didn't know how to play the song. Like I didn't know where to put my fingers on the thing. Right. So in my brain, I'm thinking, okay, shit, don't get caught out here. I'm going to have to blend in. I'm going to have to mask right now. All these kids are playing this. So I did exactly that. I moved and all of a sudden the teacher said, everyone stop. She goes, Brett, what are you doing? And like, this is like traumatic. I swear. She goes, what are you doing? I said, I don't remember. Well, if I said I'm playing the song, she goes, no, you're not. I go, yeah, I am. She's like, and she goes, you're not putting your fingers on the right holes to make the sound. I'm like thinking, oh my God, how did she know that? Thinking because she knew how to play the damn song. But then I'm thinking, was I the only kid in that class that didn't know how to play that song? Was I the only one that she had to call out?
There's no way. There had to have been at least one other kid there that was like,
exactly.
Maybe they didn't get caught. Maybe they were doing the hand thing and not actually blowing.
Right. And that teacher, right? She put me off of music and the idea of music for years because of that, because I didn't know what the hell I was doing, rather than say, hey, you don't know what let me teach you, a little bit better,
sometimes that's all that
she called me out, like made it out like I was like, trying to like, I don't know, not show off, but I just didn't want to get in trouble. That's all.
You're like, I don't know I don't really know what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Maybe you got to show me how.
So I wonder if, that experience, I wonder if sometimes kind of shapes how I look at like musical instruments or something. Like, I don't want to give any more effort than like 2 days. And on day 3, I haven't improved. I'm like, it sucks. I'm done.
That's how I used to. I think now I'm a little bit more open to having my skills like take time.
Mm-hmm.
Like skating.
Yeah.
There's no possible way to get good overnight.
No.
With that. Like, there's actually muscles in my legs. And it's crazy because I hike a lot and stuff. And it's like, it is not the same movement as skating at all.
There's like micro, I don't know how to say, not micro movements, but like little, like
the difference between, I got rollerblades originally because I wanted to ice skate, but I did the rollerblades because it was warm out and I knew I wanted to be outside. But when I finally tried ice skating, I was like, it's weird because it's both easier and harder at the same time than rollerblading. Because it's like rollerblading, you need a lot more power behind what you're doing. Ice skating, because they tell you, like, if you're turning, literally turn your head, the upper part of your body the way you want to turn. If you do that in ice skates, I literally moved my eyeballs.
You probably face plant.
I moved my eyeballs the way I wanted to go, and I didn't do anything with different.
You just have to slightly lean,
and it's crazy because
one way.
It's a movement I don't even realize I was doing. Like on the ice, I just moved my eyeballs and I started turning. And I'm like, oh my god, because I don't do that on the rollerblades. On the rollerblades,
how much do my eyeballs weigh?
I gotta like move my whole body, shove my body in a certain direction. But ice skating, you look slightly and you're spinning.
Yeah.
And it was scary because I was not in figure skates and it was my first time skating. I didn't fall once the whole time, thank God. But
I've taken a few tumbles on ice skates before, but thankfully no huge injuries or anything, but it's more of an ego hit than anything.
And I feel like the podcast is also building a skill too, because like it's hard for me to like put myself out there in general. Or like doing content creation too. I think that's my least favorite part because you gotta post every day.
Well,
I ain't posting every day. I'm not doing. Maybe every other day if we're lucky.
Yeah.
I'm sure this weekend I'll be posting like an influencer, but even just doing the podcast, it's just weird to me because I'm like, there's that part of my brain that's like, I want this to be perfect. I want to sound like I've been doing this for years.
Yep.
Right off the rip. I want all the followers right off the rip. But there's that part of me that's a little bit more grown up. It's like, unfortunately, it's not going to work that way.
Right.
And plus, I don't think I would want it to blast off right away anyway, because usually when you get big that fast, it doesn't last as long.
It's like, I sound like such a stereotype now.
Plus, I want the community. I want it to be like,
it's like
a
kids.
slow building.
It's like kids when they're younger. You're like, oh, I can't wait until they get older. I can't wait till they're out of diapers. I can't wait till they can feed themselves. I can't wait till they get older. And then they get that age, you're like, oh shit.
I'm definitely to that age because I'm like,
so when you with your podcasts, you don't want it to blow up quick. I don't think you can feel whatever you feel, obviously, but I wouldn't think so because enjoying the podcast and the content that you make now in a relaxed environment where it's slow, where you're just putting on people you like, putting on your friends, putting on whoever, and you don't have that commercial pressure of a job.
It feels worse when I'm doing solo episodes.
Right.
And especially the pressure, like, I really want to post at least twice a month. I really am locking in this year. I mean it. But I'm like this week is a posting week.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, hey, can I do this podcast?
Yeah.
but it's easier for me to do. Like, this is so much easier than, like, if I'm by myself, I would have started over a bunch of times by now.
Yeah.
I bet we've been talking for a while too. I bet this is a
Don't
long
tell me.
episode.
I'm going to guess. Now, I'm bad at this because
Oh,
I get talking and I'm like, holy mac. I'm going to. How do I say this? I'm going to guess within a 5 minute, give or take 5 minutes, right? I'm going to say an hour and 32 minutes.
You're so close. You are so close. We have been talking for an hour and 24 minutes.
Oh, wow. That's pretty close.
Yeah,
I was
that's
pretty,
really,
a little
really
over,
close.
but yeah. Like I have weird talents. Like I'm good at, if I don't see a clock or anything all day long,
You got to send.
I have a pretty good time of what time it is.
Right there.
Well, yeah, there is. I
didn't even think
look at
about,
what time we
like-
started.
Yeah, I had like a ballpark of like where we were, but I didn't think it was. I thought it was like we were closer maybe to an hour. I didn't know, like an hour 24 minutes.
I've got a really good talent as well with remembering what year a song or a movie was released. I'm not always spot on, like,
But you know the
I'm
general
pretty
vicinity.
good. Yeah, anything. Well, yeah, it's anything after let's say 1988. After that, I'm pretty good with it. Before then, not so much, because I was alive before '88, but not for a whole long time. But yeah, so yeah, Jen does that. Like she'll say, "What was that movie?" I'm like, ready? I'm like, 1991, and she's like, "Yep, that's right." She'll look it up. You're like, "Yep."
See, I can do that with like some shows,
Mm-hmm.
but only the ones I was like hyper fixated on.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe some albums from when I was younger, but like some of these don't even feel real that they're like 20 something years old. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah. There's all sorts of them. Like I was watching, what was it? The run up to the Super Bowl, not too long ago, and Green Day was, on there, up there doing their thing. And I looked at them and I said, man, the Green Day's been up there forever. Like, they've been around forever. I'm thinking, okay, they were around when I was.
I
my
got into
teenage
them
years.
when I was in like 4th or 5th grade, and they were doing American Idiot. That's the album.
American
I got
Idiot. That
into
was,
them with.
yeah.
I used to wake up at like, I don't know if you've seen those memes about like a lot of millennials have this shared experience of their TV waking them up with like the Shirley Temple commercials or like
reruns, like old.
well, it was like a thing where they wanted you to buy a box set of.
Oh,
Shirley
yeah.
Temple
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh,
And then there's that one with like the. I know Celine Dion was in the commercial, and it's just like a really loud. We all have a shared experience where we wake up at 3 a.m. to these songs. But for me,
because
I
yeah.
would leave MTV on. I would fall asleep to MTV.
Yeah.
So I don't know how my body did it, but I always woke up to the good song. So like
Yeah.
the Killers had Mr. Brightside back
Yep.
there. I every single time like clockwork, my body was like I'd be dead asleep. That Mr. Brightside came on, boom, I'm up, and I'm watching this music video, and then Holiday by Green Day was one of the ones that would
Yep.
play a lot too.
Yep.
That one,
Yep.
I don't know how many millennials would wake up to MTV stuff, but that's the stuff I would do. It's just
Yeah.
like my favorite songs. My
Yeah.
body was just like,
Yeah.
oh, ain't no time to sleep right
Yep.
now. I gotta
Yep.
wake up
Yep.
for 3 minutes.
First Green Day, when Green Day came out, it was the summer between 8th grade and 9th grade for me. So out of junior high, going into high school, I think it was that the year before. So that would have been probably 92, 93 when Dookie came out, I think. And yeah, it was great. It was like, like a revelation, like new music and stuff. But on the other hand, I also remember when Nirvana came out for the first time, and I was always listening. It was junior high. I would listen to 96.5 WKDD at the time, and at the time they called the top 8 at 8. So 8 o'clock at night, I was glued to my radio every night, listening to the top 8 songs. You do requests and you call and say, I want to send out this song to my boyfriend, to my girlfriend. Okay, this is a song going out to blah, blah, blah. And, throughout the week, the songs would kind of flip around a little bit. You might get the number one song, might move down to 3, or 3 might move down to 4, or 4 might move to 1, whatever. And, I had, and I had kind of like, the list of that week. I was like, okay, whatever, songs are moving. And then one week, all of a sudden, Nirvana hit. And then Smells Like Teen Spirit, right? And that song was completely different than all the others at the time. I'm thinking like, we got Michael Jackson on there, like you say, Celine Dion, maybe early, Mariah Carey possibly. And then Kurt Cobain and Nirvana, like just completely out of nowhere. And I remember as a kid thinking, this is kind of like, God, Nirvana sucks. Like, this song's terrible. Like, this is never going to go anywhere. Like, this is, and like Pearl Jam is like way better, by the way, than Nirvana. And now I'm like, oh boy, like I was a little bit wrong, I think, in that respect.
And now a lot of people look up to Nirvana.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, they're like, the Beatles. They're right up there, with some of the all-time biggest music, landscape changing bands and songs and things. And, and like I said, watching Super Bowl and Green Day, who I remember them, they're first, and now they're like old, and I'm old.
Just
and
making music too. Like,
yeah,
it's crazy. I think that keeps them, I feel like some artists will like just come back and like they'll be gone for like 10 years and they'll come back and try to make an album. And it's always hard for me to get into their new stuff because I'm like, it's not hitting like it's gotta hit while I'm into them, or I'm just you can't draw me back into the new albums. Like, I think I even got that way with AFI. Like, I don't think I've listened to their newest album. And I didn't even go see that the last time. I used to go see them every time they were in Ohio, but they came like once last year. But I didn't go see them because I was like, I don't know none of the new stuff. I only know their old stuff.
It's like Blink 182. I cannot bring myself to listen to their new, not because I don't like it, not because I don't like them.
It's just a different, and it's also because they are also different people now too.
Yes.
And it's funny because All American Rejects tried to come back around as well. They did interviews about it before they dropped something, and they were like on the fence about it a little bit because they're like, we're grown ups now. We don't really want to write about heartbreak anymore. Right.
That's it. Yeah. You're a different part of life, and your priorities are completely different, and you write about different stuff. And a lot of times as a band, the stuff that you write about is not, all about your success, but it's a good chunk of it sometimes, if, Nirvana was writing about, I don't know,
I'm kind of
cooking or like baking bread,
that, like,
songs about,
my music stuff
whatever.
Didn't work out as like how I wanted it to, because back then I was writing a lot of like sad lyrics, and I'm at a point where like even when my life sucks, I don't get that far down into depression anymore. I just don't. I think depression is healable. Somebody gonna come argue with me about that, I'm sure. Whatever.
I think
it's just like
in certain instances, it's
for somebody like me, I got tired of being depressed. I got tired of complaining to everybody. I got tired of hearing myself complain. So I don't know. I got into all my self-awareness stuff, and I just don't do. Nobody else is paying my bills, so why would I do things for other people that make me feel depressed? So that's always my thing. Like, if you ain't paying my bills, I don't care.
Right.
I'm gonna go do things that I like to do.
Right. Is that because I don't want to ask you this, or I don't want to get like, is that because do you feel at times I'm not going to say a people pleaser, but do you feel at times you'll go out of your way for people previously that people wouldn't necessarily reciprocate that back for you? And that's the reason why
I was kind of trained that way as a kid. And I do know it, we can't live in our trauma forever. That's true. But I also don't think it's as easy as people say online. Like, you can't be blaming.
Decide to be happy.
You can't be blaming your childhood forever. That's true. But it does take work to actually, because there's things that I swore as a kid, like things that my stepdad would tell me. I'd be like, I'm not going to be like you when I grow up. And there are things that unfortunately I still ended up doing growing up that I was like, I didn't mean to absorb that, but
It's human nature. It's
Yeah,
gonna
and
happen.
I just got to a point where I was like, I don't really want to live that way. And I didn't even mean to be living that way, but it took me the awareness to see that, like, just getting back to the, like, where your nervous system first formed a neurological pattern. Because it does that. In your early years, your nervous system will be like, okay, we're going to wire this way. We're going to wire this way because this is what we're seeing. So then we just
whether
end
it's
up doing
threat
that
assessment,
stuff. And
whether
it
it's
takes so much time to actually like reprogram. Like even if I'm having an experience like nowadays, I can tell like where as a kid I like started flipping out or something to do things different. It takes so much work. A lot of people don't want to do inner work like that either.
People, will kind of flippantly call it mindfulness, and I think to a degree that's kind of what it is. But what you hear, like what you hear on YouTube and the internet and social media influencers talk about be mindful, practice mindfulness, blah blah blah. I think it's good in the sense people talk about their environment, notice that the wall is purple, the sky is blue, but I think for me, it's definitely a mindfulness of myself. And it's taken so many years and decades and, a couple of rock bottom moments in my life to get to know who I am and how, my body reacts to things, and some of the people I've talked to, they've told me about a book. I've never read it, ADHD, but I think I get the idea. What's it called? It was the Body Keeps the Score.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
And I've never read the book, right? But being that I am who I am, I feel like I've read the book without actually having read the book. And I kind of feel like the gist of things is that, going back to the nervous system, that you have essentially two independent systems. You have your brain, which is your thoughts and things and your whatever else, and your body, which is, physical, and one sends cues to the other, vice versa, whatever. So I've thought with myself that if I'm in a situation or whatever where I'm physically tense, eventually it travels into my brain and starts influencing my thought process. Yep. And then my brain thought process gets tense and I get irritable and I get, or whatever,
See, I'm in a point where I try to catch all of that as early as I can. Like doing yoga and like meditating.
It works the opposite.
Has helped me be able to figure out, like, I'll be like, okay, I'm feeling some weird sensation going on in my gut or something. And then I'll try to ask myself, like, what have I been thinking about all morning? What have I been what's in my head?
Yep.
And then if it's not something in my head, like what's going on around me that might be causing this?
Because I don't know about you, but like as human, we're so used to just dealing, I don't want to say with trauma, but dealing with like external stimuli that aren't necessarily good for us. And we tune out that, this is not good for us. And it builds. And like you say, you might get a feeling, a pit of your stomach where you just feel a little like what people will describe as feeling nervous. Or I've even felt like feeling of butterflies in your stomach. Like people describe that talking
like where you
to
feel excited before you know what you're excited about. I've had that too. I
when you're dreading something,
the opposite of anxiety.
You're right.
I always think those things are weird because I'm like, what is this? I feel like something's going to happen. Usually something does, and it's not always bad. Sometimes it's really good stuff. And that's where I'm like, pattern recognition is weird. And that's when I like to call it the psychic stuff because I'm like, there are some things I literally could not have ever guessed would happen. Like, or to even think like a pattern would happen. Like that. But
when you start to pick up on your patterns on, I don't want to phrase it like, cause and reaction. It's not that binary, I don't feel. But yeah, when you start to be aware of things and mindful of the external stimulus and how that affects us, and then how, we then in turn affect things around us, it's a feedback loop. Everything's a feedback loop, and I don't know. It sounds weird. It's a feedback loop, but it kind of is.
It is.
So you got to be
100%
mindful
is.
to put the break in that to
And
say.
some people think it's a matter of, and I've been playing with this a lot, like recently. A lot of people think it's because it does have to do with habits as well. Sometimes the things that you physically do throughout your regular day does affect all of that too.
Yeah.
That's why I think depression's healable. I'm like,
Right.
Because depression is usually your brain and your body being like, something's out of whack here. Like it could just even be people that you're hanging around, but it's telling you like sometimes you'll get
Could it
depressed
be
before you actually feel the symptoms of like a physical illness. Sometimes you'll just start feeling down for no reason, and it's not no reason. It's like your body's like, something's out of whack here. She's letting you know something's out of whack. Figure it out, and then. So I've had a thing where there's certain cycles that I wanted to break, especially like how I used to be like really attached to relationships and stuff. I've recently been getting over that kind of stuff and trying to get my brain to do different things or to even be able to do the podcast like I want to do. Because like I've been in a cycle of work, pay my bills, and I'm like, I want to do work that I want to do. Like I'm tired of doing things that are even somewhat boring. I'm so tired of doing all the boring stuff. I know it's necessary sometimes, but like, or even just like ruminating on like how boring something is even. But I was listening to a different podcast and they were talking about like breaking your routine because habits take forever. Even if you're neurotypical, habits don't change overnight. You could think like, and people say, well, if you have a habit you want to break, you got to replace it with something else. But sometimes
Not always.
You can't just replace it. It doesn't happen. It's not an overnight process.
No.
So
if it was that easy, then
some
you
of
could
the
say, I just want
times-
to hop up and down 3 times a day. That's my new habit. Like,
no, and that's crazy you say that
Right.
because I'm getting to something like that. So
Really?
he had a thing, yeah. So he had a thing like of breaking these loops that we do. He's like, it could be as easy or something as easy as like going to the kitchen in the morning. You wake up and instead of like brushing your teeth first thing when you get up, he's like, you could just go into the kitchen, grab a glass you don't ever use,
right.
put water in it and go dump it in the toilet.
Just something different.
And I did that just because I was like, that is something different. It wasn't necessarily something that I would like to do every single day, but it was something that was enough to get my pattern to shift. Like even just early in the day, just to get something out of my routine that was different. And I've been really into like not being in a routine. I don't want to be predictable to people. I don't. Maybe that's when people are like, I don't know what it is about you. Maybe it's because
You're too random.
You can't figure me out.
Yeah.
That's what I don't want people to be able to figure me out. Don't figure me out.
don't even try it.
I don't want to figure the whole thing out either. But I have actually gone and did like the dumping a glass of water into the toilet thing.
Yeah.
But now it's more so like where I just notice if I'm feeling a certain way or notice, hey, I've been thinking like shit. I've been ruminating about this person forever. Yeah. And sometimes it's just like a car. If you're pushing on the gas for a while, it's harder to stop it as faster you're going. And our thoughts just kind of go faster. Like you wake up and you start on something. I like to meditate first thing in the morning so I can like put space between those kind of thoughts. So I actually have time to catch them.
That's another thing. Meditation. I want to meditate. I love to meditate. I think it would probably be amazing, but I just haven't learned to do it right. Every time I try it, I fall asleep. I'm like, I just took a nap.
Yeah, you gotta sit up and do it.
That is the
part of
problem.
thing.
Yeah.
If you lay down and you can sleep, because I'm a person, I can sleep anywhere.
Yeah.
But like, you ain't gotta do it for an hour. You can do it for like.
Yeah.
I do 15 minutes. That's really all you need. Take 15 minutes. I like to listen to white noise.
Yep.
Or my breath. I kind of go back and forth between white noise and my breath, or like a space in my body. It's just like when your thoughts they're going to go off track.
Yeah.
That's literally our brain's job is to think.
Yeah.
But it's like when it goes off track, for when you can kind of notice where it went. Like where did your thought automatically go? Because if it went to something and you're like, and it's something that bothers you, that's probably something you need to take care of.
Yeah.
Or it might just be a pattern that you need to
Yeah.
like, hey, I think like shit a lot. Maybe I should not think the worst of things, because that's kind of how I was. I would think like shit, and it's not even that any circumstances were happening. It's just I'm creating this fake panic in my head, and it's just like, or like trying to deal with things like if something, even if something's going on, you can't deal with it every moment of the day. Like
Right.
if there's something you're dealing with, you usually can't. You'll think about it all day long, and there's nothing you can do in each moment. There's usually like a certain
Right.
part of the day you could probably deal with it.
Right.
But a lot of people choose to walk around with it all day, talk about it to other people, even though it makes them upset.
Mhm.
And I'm like, for me, lately, I haven't even been telling people if I'm upset about something, I won't even tell anybody.
Yeah.
I'll just be like, I'm going to deal with this on my own, and not in like a sense of like, I don't like to call it like the trauma, because some people, if you're traumatized enough, you just will not reach out. Like isolation, they say it's kind of dangerous, but
Yeah.
I don't really do it in a sense of like, I don't want to ask for help. It's more so nobody lives inside of my brain to do the inner work for me. Nobody, you can complain all you want to people, but they can't do the inner work for me. If there's anything monetary, ain't nobody gonna come save me for the monetary stuff either.
No.
Like, so
Mhm.
there's just usually, or like if it's a relationship thing, oh, you gotta drop that guy. Like,
Yeah.
it's just nobody can do the inner work.
Yeah.
And I just got to a point I don't complain to people, because once I notice I'm starting to complain about a certain thing multiple times, I'm like, okay, I can't imagine what they're hearing, like hear me complain. And I feel bad saying that. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like,
I know. I've done.
sometimes
Yeah.
people will come complain to me. Now, if it's a repetitive problem, like they do it all the time,
Like the same thing day after day after day.
yeah, it's just
like,
like,
bro, it's like, fix it. Do something.
Yeah, like I'm not telling. I don't really want to give you advice, but like maybe go meditate on it. Go
Yeah.
sit in silence for a little bit.
One of my favorite
Do
phrases
something
is
different, and then figure out how you feel. Because sometimes that's what it's about. Like I feel like before you deal with a lot of things going on, you've got to like sort of try to regulate your nervous system a little bit. Because like if you're spiked, if you got that pit in your stomach, most of the time, any decision you make going into that, like going in it like that,
it's never going to be good.
it's never
Yeah.
good. Even just like the other day getting my brakes done, I told
Mhm.
somebody, I was like, even something as simple as like doing something like this,
Mhm.
if I get frantic about it, it's not going to work itself out for me. And that's like I said, that's where the universe stuff comes in. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm like, sometimes I don't know why. It's like when I calm down, things just
Mhm.
work out,
Mhm.
rather than when I'm tense and really pushing and striving and struggling to do something.
Yeah.
It's like everything I struggle, every attempt I make will just like not.
It's true for a lot of
not
things in
work.
life, just in general. whatever it happens to be. Like, I feel
But you got
the harder
people
you
that are like,
try.
well, you're just not working hard enough.
Yeah, well,
Like,
that's projection on
that
their part.
doesn't-
Probably a lot of the time, it's easy to blame stuff for that. But I've been listening to what we've been saying, and I'm going to try and quickly not summarize it all up. But I've noticed.
I think we might
I
might end the podcast.
Yeah, that's fine.
This is about to be my record.
But
This
there's
is my record.
there's a couple points that we hit on throughout that we came to sort of organically, right? And I'm going to try and tie them together a little bit for us as a summary. And I could be full of shit here. I could not be. Who knows? The things we talked about. We talked a lot about our mental health. We talked about neurodivergence. We talked about hobbies and what makes us happy. We talked about societal things, expectations, differences in generations, things like that. And maybe it's going to sound a little cynical here, but with mental health and all these things, and I really feel as a species of beings, the way that we're living now on our planet in general is so far detached from what our brains, our bodies, and even the planet is equipped to deal with. Something has been hijacked in our humanity, in our being, something somewhere, right? And it's easy to, I'm going to go on a fucking watch list now. It's easy to point to capitalism as, something, and people will say, oh, well, without capitalism, you'd be living in, a hut and blah, blah, blah. And, going to the fishing hole for your food. And, I'm like,
See, but I think there's
that
way to
wouldn't
do
be so
all the
damn bad.
capitalism
That wouldn't be so
with,
bad.
Because there are definitely things I love to use money to buy.
Yeah.
But I do think that there's a way. I think there's a way where the billionaires could still have their money, and we could have a decent wage, and they could still be richer than everybody, but we would all be happy and then still circulating the money right back to them.
But I feel just having money, having, the grocery store, the gas station, these things, I don't know, maybe it sounds weird, but, it's not how we're meant. I feel it's not how we're meant to live as a species.
No, I think it's
you're not meant
more
to have
communal.
Right. You're not meant to have
just like people think like if
cats
being in
living
isolation or something. Right. People think I'm like, for the longest time I thought I was an introvert. I don't think I'm really that much of an introvert.
No, you're not. I think you're pretty outgoing.
I think I'm more selective of who I talk to, because I don't really like a lot of small talk stuff. I'm not really into. I will say I've got more interested in talking about the weather. The older I get, I'm more into talking about the weather. I used to think that was small talk, but
But for me now,
if I can't feel comfortable talking like myself, rather than, because I'm not talking about what's on the news. I'm not talking about that kind of stuff. I might talk about a meme. I might talk about the music that I'm into or my hobbies. And that's my favorite thing to hear from people. I like hearing stories. I love talking to people. Absolutely. That's why I have this podcast.
Yeah.
I was like, I do solo travel. I will meet people, and I'm like, and they will tell me the wildest things. And I'm just like, and it's not always like celebrities either. Like, don't get me wrong. I've been obsessed with celebrities like forever. So like my obsession with Artemis, I used to have a Post Malone obsession. Like I just been this way forever. I used to want to marry the guy from Good Charlotte.
Benji Madden?
No, Joel. I hated Hillary Duff.
Oh, that's who I was thinking of.
They dated for a while, and I hated her because I was like, that's my man. I was 9 years old.
Yeah. You're like gonna threaten her and beat her up, taking your man.
But, it's not just like, I don't just want celebrities on here. I like everyday people because, like, celebrities are still people, too. Like, I actually see them on the same level.
They're just people that everybody knows of.
Yeah, that's all it is. They might have more money, but more money don't even make them a good person.
No.
There's pieces of shit that are regular ass people that fucking suck. There's also celebrities that are pieces of shit that absolutely fucking suck. Like, so I see them on the same. I definitely have my dream celebrities that I want on here, but I want regular people on here too. Like, that's why I don't have this as video, because these little tiny microphones, I can just. Yeah. Hey, do you mind if I record us talking?
Yeah. Besides Artemis, like out of music, do you have any other favorite celebrities or people that you're just like, yeah, I like that person?
I have a lot
celebrity.
Of content creators.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily celebrities. Like the guy, the rollerblader guy, I think I'm about to shoot my shot soon. I think I'm about to be like, hey, be on my podcast.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Just do it. And then
nobody will hear it right away.
What's Don't that worry. One? Is it Seinfeld or Jimmy Kimmel, or they did? Oh, there's a couple of them. I think one was like comedians in cars with coffee. I think that was Seinfeld. And then James Corden did carpool karaoke. Right? Maybe you need to do rollerblade bullshitting.
Well, it's just free and chill. Literally,
you rollerblade around with him
because we are. My goal is to have a hangout vibe. I don't like to edit a lot of stuff because I want people to feel like they were here. So if there's like some dead air where we're thinking,
right,
let it be.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
I don't really want to just cut straight to the next thing that we're talking about.
Right.
I like the space there because if you cut it, like, it doesn't feel like the person is like hanging out.
Right.
And I like conversational type podcasts. Those are my favorite. Like Duncan Trussell is one of my dream people to have on here. And he's not necessarily like, he's got a successful podcast. He's a comedian. but I don't think a lot of people don't even really know who he is.
Yeah, I've never heard of him.
People who know him, I love this guy. And he's had so many different people. He's had different people from different religions. Like he's had priests on there. He's had people that are scientists, meditation teachers. Like he's had people from all kinds of walks of life on there. And I love, and he's like, I feel like I'm kind of similar. I can get along with anybody.
Mhm.
As long as somebody's not like trying to cause trouble, or they have like, a lot of people have this like, and I don't think everybody means to, but like the better than you attitude. I can't stand that about
Yeah,
people,
it comes
and I feel
from
like I can feel it when I meet them.
Yeah,
if they
people
think
rely on
they're-
that a lot when they feel inferior to others. They
Yeah,
want
and
to
it's just like,
feel better than other people.
yeah, and I don't like that kind of vibe.
No.
I don't care if you got more money. I don't care if you got more followers. I
Mhm.
don't care if you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what you got that I
Yep.
don't have. It's
Yep.
just like.
Yep.
That doesn't mean shit to me.
Yeah, I mean, I feel, the more humble a person is, the more trustworthy they are. I feel, you know what I mean? If that makes sense in a weird way. People that are out there, telling everybody else how great they are and how awesome they are, and they're the
Sometimes
best.
they're lying. I know
99% of them are
I know
lying.
some people that are like, "Oh, I think I'm dope,"
Yeah, like,
and then
yeah,
you can feel it
Yeah.
in their energy. They don't
Yeah.
believe it.
Yeah,
You can feel it. I've met. It's like the last person I tried to date. We're not gonna name drop here, but you know you know about them. Like, have you ever dated a musician before? Like, I don't care if you listen to this and you hear this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but
yeah.
you don't like yourself. I can literally, I can tell.
Right, and there's
I'd be like, next person I date out. Have you ever dated a podcaster before? Like, what?
and see, people will pick up on that, and when
Because I definitely did, especially being a music fan for my
Uh-huh.
whole life and having tried to do it as a career at one point. Have you ever dated a musician? Like, I did go to LA and I wasn't not dating when I
Yeah.
was out there.
yeah.
But some of you try to be musician people.
A lot of them do it just to
You
get
suck
girls.
as a human, and
You'd be
you
amazed.
like are not hot shit. Like
Yeah.
you think it's not. It's not like I don't care if somebody's a musician. I really don't.
Yeah.
I just
Yep.
who
A
cares?
guy I knew, and probably reason I brought it up before is like the piano, right? I said about I regretted playing the piano, and I had a friend, and this isn't why I regret it, but I had a friend years ago, and he was great at the piano. He played like Bach and Beethoven and all the classical, and he did it. He told me a story one time. He said, he goes, I went to a party, when he was in college, and someone had a piano, I don't know, keyboard, whatever. And he just sat down and started playing, I don't know, it was Mozart or somebody. And he looked at me, he goes, the amount of girls that just came over and just like sat down next to me and like listened to me play piano. Because we're talking about musical instruments. I think about, guys will pick up a guitar, to go strum it by a campfire and, try and pick up girls, on the beach, and I thought of what, Kenny said about, playing piano. I'm like that I'm sure that tracks probably, I can see that.
Sometimes maybe that's the vibe I get about Artemis is he gets
Yeah.
he plays into the getting
Yeah.
girls thing.
Oh,
But sometimes
right.
I get this feeling that he's like
Publicity.
not actually that into girls like
he
that.
needs-
Like his music says.
Yeah.
I don't think he. I feel so bad for him, like all the people outside of his tour bus, because like
Yeah.
that ain't about to. If I don't get to meet
Yeah.
him this weekend, I'm not going to cry about it. But I'm definitely not going to be one of them girls that are like
Yeah.
outside of his tour. He had a crowd,
Like banging
There was
on
a
the window.
crowd, and I'm just like, dude, what if he's like, what if he's in there using the bathroom? Like
Yeah,
you guys are, it's
yeah.
just like being outside
Yeah.
somebody's hotel
Yeah.
or their house. Like
It's like
that is
that's
his
how
house.
hashtag Me Too started.
on, yeah.
Well, not
like,
quite, but oh boy,
I just
you're gonna
feel-
get backlash for that one. Sorry, that's not what I meant.
I don't know. People they don't listen to this that much.
Yeah,
I do think I'm gonna wrap this up here. 'Cause
Yes.
we're at almost 2 hours,
Holy shit.
and I gotta work at 6. So I
Yeah,
gotta
my
go
bad.
get
Sorry,
ready.
I just keep blabbing.
It's okay.
See, we do that like I got to a point probably 4 times where I was like, All right, she's trying to wrap up now. I can.
No, I see. This is why I like having
Yeah.
guests on here, is because I can actually
Yeah.
talk. Like when I'm doing it by myself, I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck to say
Yeah.
about myself. I need somebody else to bounce off the
Yeah.
conversation, because that's
Yeah.
kind of what gets my
Right.
thoughts jogging.
Same.
When I'm by myself, I'm like, I meditate too much.
Yeah, you're like,
I meditate. My head is empty.
yeah.
All right, y'all. You can comment or like and subscribe. You know, give me some likes. Quit listening and
Give her
not
the likes.
liking.
Come on, people.
Like, we're supposed to be friends here. That's the whole point. We're hanging
Hook
out.
her
We're
up.
friends.
Come on.
Comment if you liked the episode. Like it. Comment.
So I'm saying, slap that like button.
Or I have people that are friends that will like. They'll text me and be like, "Hey, I listened to your podcast. How about you just comment and be like,
Yeah.
I liked it."
Yeah. A thumbs up and a comment will drive the algorithm. So
Yes.
even if you go on there,
If you hate me, comment.
yeah, go on there, comment, say like, I don't know, spaghetti McGillicuddy.
Really.
Just put that in the
Some.
comment box and thumbs up.
Yes.
Spaghetti McGillicuddy. Go for it now.
I don't even know how to spell.
I don't either.
You could ask AI how to spell.
Yes.
All right, y'all. I love all of you, like 50 people that listen to every single episode, and I appreciate you. You're noticed. They tell me. But anyway, I will see you guys next time.
Bye, everyone.